Oh, welcome, my friends, to Warrior Wednesday. So happy that you've taken some time for yourself. You might even begin with this very first breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, this mantra, I choose me. Just choosing this time and this kind of activity for yourself, your body, your mind, and your soul. Let yourself settle here with a few deep breaths. So as we're coming into child's pose, I'd like you to spread your fingers wide. Today, we are going to break down the dog. We're going to look at all of the components that make our downward facing dog stronger, more stable, and also more spacious. So glance up at your hands and with your fingers spread wide, see if you can make more of an L shape with your thumb and your forefinger. And then push your mat like you're trying to stretch your mat forward as you pull your hips backward. Just notice how there is traction right here. Press into the knuckles where the fingers connect to the palm and pull your tailbone back. We're just going to create a little flow with breath here. So on the inhale, come up over your hands. Notice the wrinkles in the back of your wrist. And then as you come back into child's pose, feel that stretch, your knuckles pressing forward, your tailbone reaching back. And we're going to do that a few times. So the next time you come forward, tuck your toes and then lift your hips into downward facing dog, but go slow and notice that same thing. Pressing into the front of the palms, lifting up through the tailbone. So let's create flow here. Inhale to tabletop, re-engage through the front of your palm. And then as you lift into down dog, those knuckles stretch your mat forward. Maybe your toes feel like they're digging and pulling your mat backward, but think of tailbone lifting. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, press into the front of your hands, and then exhale, pull your tailbone away from those points. And then come back to tabletop and let's move through cat and cow a few times. Let's just warm up the spine. You might want to move a little differently today, maybe a little side to side action, a little shift through the hips, circles or ovals or figure eights. Just finding your way here into your body. And then just bring yourself around to sit for just a moment while we just look at one more component of downward facing dog. So we're going to bring our arms out in front of us and you're going to open up your fingers. They look exactly like they just looked when you were on the ground. All right, so now the arms are going to come up on an angle the way they do in downward facing dog. Depending on your shoulders, they might be right by your ears. Mine are just slightly in front of my face. All right, so take one of your hands and I want you to just spin the elbow inward a little bit. Think of bringing that crease more toward the midline or maybe even up towards your forehead. Okay, now do that same thing with your armpit. You're spinning your armpit in here towards your chest. Like grab the outside and spin in and then see if you can do that with both of your arms. That's the action we want in downward facing dog when our hands are glued to the floor. So let's go ahead and try that. We're back in tabletop position. We're making that L shape with our fingers. We're pressing into the front of the palms. And as we lift that tailbone, can you get that sensation of spinning your armpits inward? It's going to make your back, your upper back, feel more broad and strong. Breathe in, breathe out. And then we'll take a slow walk to the top of our mats. Let's bend and straighten our knees here a few times and start to wake up our hammies. So finding a place between bent and straight where your hamstrings feel pretty good. Press to your shins. Let's lengthen and lift out through the crown of the head. We're going to float our arms back to behind us and squeeze that space. Squeeze your armpits in towards your body. On the inhale, scoop all the way up and do that same action. So from here, it's going to look like this, like that armpit rolling in again. So pinkies towards each other, elbow crease faces back, broaden. So let's bend the knees and fly again. Pinch that space where your armpits are, and then inhale, lift and sweep so that pinkies come in and you feel that down dog spiral. One more time, reach back and reach up, and then lower your arms to your side, standing in mountain pose. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Feel your feet on the earth. Deepen your breath. So thinking of hands and arms, let's go through a couple of sun salutations. So as we inhale the arms up, we have that spiral, pinkies face each other. Exhale, palms down, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. Now you're just going to move slow as you plant your hands to the ground and step back. Those knuckles, palm knuckles, press forward. The tailbone lifts up and back. Find traction. And then shoulder blades broaden while the armpits hug in. You might even look to see, make sure you're not locking your elbows. We want a tiny bend in the elbows. Breathe, everyone. Shift forward into plank pose. Let's lower our knees, and we're just gonna do 10 yogi push-ups. So the elbows bend about to a 90. Because it's Kim's birthday, and we're pretty sure she's at least 10. We'll get those triceps warmed up. Core stays strong. And then let's reach back through the tailbone, press, engage into those knuckles. Find yourself a home here. Tucking our toes, we'll lift into downward facing dog. Same thing, hands, elbows, shoulders, tailbone. You might nod your head yes and shake your head no. And then let's walk forward. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up, bring the pinkies together. You're gonna feel those shoulders, and then hands come to heart. Okay, so that probably felt a little choppy and slightly different. So let's do it with a little bit more flow. Rise high. Bow low. Lift halfway. Step back, down dog. Just put all the pieces in place. Shifting forward onto your knees or toes. 10 yogi push-ups. Slow, deep breaths. Strong triceps. And come back. Child's pose. Relax your hands a bit. We're going to bring our block now into the practice. So grab your block and put it on its high side. We're actually going to see if we can put our head on this in downward facing dog. It may or may not be the right height for you. So let's try it out. Thread your fingers, press those knuckles, tuck the toes, and lift the tailbone. And then just see if it's possible to just rest your head. And that might mean an adjustment of arms farther or closer. But this is going to invite us to engage through those knuckles and really pull up through that tailbone. We're not holding all of our weight, so we can feel this length and space and traction. Really lifting up through those hips. And then we'll release to bring the feet forward. You can use your block to help you with this half lift. And exhale, forward fold. As we reach the palms up, pinkies come toward each other. Feel those shoulder blades more broad, and then hands to heart. Beautiful, everyone. Let's reach the arms high one more time and come into a forward fold. Keep your block close by. Let's step our left foot back and pause for a moment here in a hip flexor stretch. So just finding length from the middle of your thigh to the bottom ribs. Just think about lengthening, stretching those 2 points away from each other. Let's tuck our back toes, lift the knee. So a little bit deeper stretch. Bring your block underneath your left hand on any of its levels, and we'll sweep the arm up into a twist. So come up a little higher on those back toes. Really reach your fingers for the ceiling. Deep breaths here. Come here into this place beneath your skin, this refuge. And as we lower that hand, let's drop the back heel, rise up, warrior one, pinkies facing each other. So we've got that external rotation in the shoulders, that heel to the floor. Lift and lengthen, open the arms straight out to the sides. So now your palms are facing back, your chest is expanded. Beautiful, everyone. Fingers up, come onto your back toes, and let's lower down to the floor. We're moving into downward facing dog. So knuckles, step back, sitting bones lift high. There's a micro bend in the elbows, neck is loose. So let's try something else while we're here. I want you to just round your upper back. So it feels like you're kind of pulling shoulders to ears. And then as you press your chest down, spiral those armpits in. Inhale to roll forward through the upper back. Exhale, pull the armpits in and down. One more time, spiral, roll forward. And come down, drop the knees to the mat, shift forward. I'm going out on a limb here, guessing that Kim is at least 30. So we're gonna go 10 more yogi push-ups. Our upper bodies might feel this tomorrow, just saying, folks. In a good way, right? Okay, and child's pose. Give it a little rest, wiggle out your fingers. As we come up to a tabletop, let's step our left foot forward and come down into kneeling lunge. Find yourself a home in this place, a refuge from the grasping hands, the unyielding demands that are always clinging themselves to your shoulders. So just come in here, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and then using your block if you like, let's come into twist. Breath and space, refuge. As we come down, we'll drop the back heel, slowly rising up with pinky fingers facing in. Warrior one. Feeling those, as you pull those armpits kind of forward, you feel your shoulder blades broaden. And then we'll just open those arms like wings, palms up, thumbs back. That should feel very expansive and open. As we lift again, let's come onto those back toes. And we'll lower the fingers or hands down to the ground, stepping back again, downward facing dog, our pose of the day. So press into the front of your palms, lift your tailbone, nod your head, bend the elbows and spin the shoulders. I know that's a lot of instructions. So the chest now starts to reach toward the feet. The belly comes in nice and tight. So everybody hug your navel in so fiercely that it almost feels like it's coming up into your rib cage. And notice that that is going to give you even more length, more ability to lift those sitting bones. There's a deep crease in your hips. Maybe your knees are bent. The heels don't have to be on the ground. And let's take a slow walk to the top of the mat. Ooh, shake out your hands. Relax your upper body. Be a little bit like a rag doll here. Let's press to shins and then reach the arms up. Palms face each other. Pinkies turn in and then hands to heart. Good job, everybody. Great work. Okay, so step your left foot back. Come into a warrior stance. Sweep your arms up and around into warrior two. So let's take this nice, firm foundation. And we're going to turn our palms up, because that's part of downward facing dog, is our hands just get weak because we don't use them like this. We type like this, but we don't use them with strength. So spread your fingers wide, like you're pushing the walls away from you. And see if you can feel that in those knuckles where the fingers meet the palm. That's where your strength is. All right, in this action then, we're gonna rotate the armpits forward and we're gonna come back to those flat hands. Okay, so think of pulling your shoulder blades underneath, kind of underneath your chest. I know it's so weird, but that's the feeling we want in downward facing dog. Those are the muscles. All right, relax your hands, palm turns up, reverse your warrior. Take a nice deep bend in your knees. Let that top arm be relaxed. Breathe into the side of your rib cage. Good. On the exhale, elbow to thigh, left arm sweeps up over the ear. Let the arm be a little bit more relaxed since we've been using it so much. Good. We'll reverse again, this time with a straight leg. Reach, reach, stretch. And windmill your hands to the earth. Let's come to balance now. So all 10 fingertips on the floor, lift the back leg. Find some strength here, and you are welcome to keep your hands on the floor. Walk the hands up the leg to the heart center, or maybe warrior three. Arms wherever you like. As long as you can breathe here. And then slowly come to stand in Tadasana, mountain pose. Pause to close your eyes and feel what's happening in your body. The word asana means take an easy seat. So even though we're standing, can you take an easy seat here in your body? Good. When you're ready, step your right foot back, scoop the arms up to warrior one, pinkies in, and then spin open, warrior two. solid feet, flex your hands, flex your wrists, and then press. Press the walls away from you. Really strong hands. All right, so now aware of the shoulders. Tilt the shoulder blades as if they could just scoop up underneath. And then back to that press. So awareness of those scapula, those shoulder blades on the back. We're using muscles we don't use a lot. Just give yourself this little treat of finding some new muscles today. Open out, warrior two. Relax your hands. Turn the left palm and reverse your warrior. Take some deep breaths here. Just let your left lung receive more breath than your right. Stretching those little muscles between ribs. And then side angle, resting on the thigh. Hand can stop here straight up, or arm can reach over the ear. We're just looking to be easy through the arm, but long, right? Long lines of energy. How is your breath? Is it steady? Let's inhale, reverse warrior, this time with a straight leg. Really reach for the ceiling as if there were a rope up there, just pulling you up. Side body long. On the exhale, windmill to find your balance. Fingertips to the floor, lifting that back leg. And then either staying here or finding some version of warrior three. Balance. Trying to maintain a steady breath through the nose. Asana, easy seat, right? Even when we're on one leg, find an easy seat here. And as we lower that leg and rise up, let's come to Tadasana with hands in front of the heart, closing our eyes. Coming here again. Our mantra, I choose me, this time, this breath, this posture, easy seat, abiding here, this refuge. All right, let's reach the arms high. Take a deep breath in, spin those pinky fingers towards one another. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Find those knuckles. Soften the elbows, spin the armpits, nod the head. Sink the chest, hug in the navel, lift the tailbone. Now we're going to move down into hamstring. So I'd like you to bend your knees a bunch and do everything you just did. Hands, elbows, shoulders, chest, neck, belly. Keep all of that as you start to straighten your legs, and then stop right where you feel hamstrings. Not intense, just good hamstring stretch. This is your downward facing dog. Breathe here. So down dog is not really a resting pose, is it? It's a very active pose. Drop the knees to the ground. Shift forward, and let's do 10 more yogi push-ups. Core stays strong, spine stays long. Your arms might be shaking now. I promise we're going to do some good stretches for the arms. Let's meet in child's pose. Palms together, elbows down, and let's float our hands to the back of our head. Ooh, my arms are shaking. You can walk your elbows forward, pull your tailbone back. That should feel pretty nice. Stretching between the shoulder blades. All right, releasing the hands, stepping the right foot to the front of the mat again. So we just found our hamstrings in down dog. Let's go a little deeper there. So let's start this forward and back action. And you're welcome to put something under this back knee, especially if you're on a hard floor. The next time we come back into this half split, we're going to pause and walk our hands forward. If you want to use your block, you could put your hands on your block and just slide that block forward to give you something to reach to. And then pull your hips back. You might want to just bring your right thumb to your right hip crease and pull that hip backwards as you walk your hands forward. So again, this idea of traction, of dynamic tension, reaching forward and back at the same time. Good, let's shift our bodies forward. And we're gonna let that back foot come off the ground. Coming up onto a block with the left hand, let's reach toward that back foot, a little twist here, moving into quadriceps. Just make any adjustments you need to with your right foot, your left knee, and if your hand doesn't touch your ankle, that's okay, just reach in that direction. Look over your shoulder, enjoy. And let's release. Come back to center, swing that right leg back, plant your hands, lift up into downward facing dog. Put all the pieces together. Hands, elbows, shoulders, neck, chest, belly, tailbone, knees. And our final piece is reaching the heels toward the earth. And I even like to lift my toes. Now, if that takes you out of the alignment of the rest of the pose, if that causes your tailbone to tuck, you're going to keep your knees bent. There is Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog in all its glory. Release. Whew, baby. Take the left foot forward. Ooh la la. All right, so we put all the pieces together. We don't have to keep workshopping down dog, but hopefully along the way you learned one new insight about that pose. We'll leave it alone now. So just stretch your hamstring, walk your hands forward, pull your left hip backward. Try to find all that space, all that length. More room for breath. And as we shift forward, we'll place our right hand on our block. Let's pick up that back foot, reaching toward that ankle, or maybe it's easy to grab. I like to adjust my front foot out just a little bit when I do this. And then there's just breath that takes over. Look over your shoulder, fill up the spaces. Awesome, everybody. All right, let's release. We'll bring our knees back into child's pose. Once again, palms together, elbows down, hands behind the head. Let's walk the elbows forward. And stretch. I think right there behind the shoulders, the top of the triceps is where we will feel this in the next couple days. And those are the muscles we want to strengthen for down dog. Okay, so moving into a deep, deep stretch for the back. We're going to use a block, probably. This is either thread the needle or knot pose. And knot pose looks like this with arms crossed in front of us and we're kind of laying on our arms. So I'll guide you into both. The first option is just scooping the right arm under and coming onto the back of the right shoulder. The second option is lying on our bellies. I better face you a little bit more with arms crossed, and we'll go right arm under, left arm in front. And we'll wiggle the elbows wider, palms up. You could stay here or you could offer yourself a block for your forehead. You might need to walk your hips forward a little bit to let that happen. So when you find your either thread the needle or knot pose, I want you to just unclench your jaw, unclench your glutes, relax your feet, relax your fingers. We're just inviting gravity to do the work here. You can exaggerate the stretch by taking deeper breaths. Moving breath right into the place where you feel the most sensation. This pose is uncomfortable, but also, I think, necessary. We're all pretty tight and bound up there. So a nice release from this is just to lift your head, roll onto your right shoulder, and regardless of which of the two poses you chose, you're just going to flip onto your back and let your arms open out. You're in like a 5-pointed star. Just rest here for a moment. Come into this easy seat, this asana, this refuge. I choose me. We'll bend our left knee, place the foot on the floor, and that foot helps you come back to your belly. So if you chose thread the needle, you're going to come back to hands and knees and scoop your left arm underneath. You're on your left shoulder. If you chose knot pose, the left arm crosses under and the right arm crosses over. Get your arms as wide as you can and then give yourself something to rest on. It might be possible to put your head all the way on the floor, but you'll have to walk your hips forward to do that. Once again, unclench your jaw, unclench your glutes, tap your feet and wiggle your fingers. See if you can surrender here to the weight of your body and gravity. Let breath do the work of filling up spaces that feel tight. Uncomfortable, but also necessary. All the tightness we carry in the back of our neck and our upper back. And just trusting that the discomfort is actually something helpful. You might exaggerate the breath to make that space a little more buoyant, a little more broad. To release, we'll lift our head and we'll roll toward our left shoulder. And then just let your body flop open. You might come right off your mat onto the floor. If you're on a hardwood floor, that might feel good. Just that cool floor underneath your arms and shoulders. Just notice how easily your shoulders rest on the floor, and they're not always like that. A lot of people's shoulders rock up when they come to the floor. And let's just stay here on our backs. So if you have rolled off your mat, just scooch back over to your mat. Bend your knees and let's come up into bridge. And we have done so much with our arms overhead. It might feel good to do bridge with hands underneath you. If your arms are just toast and you want to put your hips on a block, you can take a supported bridge. I want you to find the place where your body feels this pose the most. Where is the greatest sensation? And bring breath there. Let your breath be an invitation to come here, to come home, to choose you in this moment. All the things, all the people you'll be serving today will be better served because you came here. So just breathe that in, that invitation to be here. On the exhale, release your hips to the earth. Open up your arms, widen your feet, and let's windshield wiper our knees side to side. As one leg goes out, the other comes in, and this opposite action creates a gentle twist. Think of massaging your internal organs, creating space in your joints. And as the knees go to the left, let them drop, palms turn up, and then just look to your right side. Once again, the breath comes in, exaggerating the space, exaggerating sensation. And slowly roll the knees to the right, turn your head to the left. Find that place in your body where you feel the greatest sensation. It could be stretch, it could be strength. It could even be an emotion. Find a place to send your breath. And as we come back to center, the arms come down again toward your sides, heel toe your feet towards each other. Let's draw the right knee in and we're going to hold behind the right leg. Let the left leg fall flat to the floor. Give a little squeeze and then just straighten and bend. With your hand behind your knee, you'll feel those two tight cords, those tendons that attach the hamstring to the lower leg. Maybe just give those a little massage. Sometimes we feel those and we go, oh, I'm too tight. No, those are tendons doing the job of holding big muscle to a little bone. And then the next time that leg is lifted, you can either take your hand to the calf or the big toe. We're just going to open it out to the side. Giving the inner thigh a gentle stretch. Sending breath to wherever you feel the greatest sensation. And back up to center, figure 4. So take your right ankle to your left thigh, reach through that little triangle and pull in. We'll just finish on this side with the glutes. So just rock your body side to side. And if you'd like a little bit more, press that right knee away from you. So many cool things happening right now in the body. Muscles holding, muscles releasing, breath traveling, nervous system resetting. A refuge, come here. And then let's release to switch. Hold behind your left knee, give it a nice tight squeeze and lower the right leg. Start to bend and straighten. And as you do, just palpate, just gently massage those tendons, connecting the hamstrings to the lower leg. We've got one tendon on the outside and 2 tendons on the inside. Catching your 3 hamstring muscles to your calf, or not your calf, your lower leg, your tibia. Holding that leg up, finding that hamstring, and then either hand to calf or big toe. Let's take that leg out to the side. Let breath travel to the place where it's needed most. Muscles holding or muscles stretching. Or can you feel some kind of release? And as we bring that leg back to center, let's find a figure 4, ankle to thigh, reaching through that triangle, giving a nice little squeeze. And let's just start with some movement side to side. And then we'll gently press left knee away, right leg in. You might be able to just find the exact sweet spot that your body needs by pulling and pushing. And then there it is. There's that one muscle that just needs a little more attention, a little more breath. Just stay there. When you're ready, release. Let's take both feet to the floor. We're going to slide the feet down, reach the arms overhead, stretch your body out so long. Take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, just like snow angels, bring your arms to your sides, palms up, separate your feet, and just flop the feet in and out. Take a moment to get ourselves settled into Shavasana. Pound your calves on the ground. Wiggle your hips until they feel even. Wiggle your shoulder blades until they feel even. Roll your hands until you feel just even texture, pressure on both sides. And then just roll your head left and right until you find that perfect place where the back of your head comes to rest. Softly close your lips and let your nose do the breathing. Let's come into Shavasana with a box breath. So picturing a box. Inhale 4 counts. Hold 4 counts. Exhale 4 counts. And then hold the breath out 4 counts. So you're just drawing a square in your mind with even breath, pausing at the top and the bottom. Let the next few breaths that enter your nose feel like divine light. And this divine light swirls throughout your body. And as your breath leaves you, light extends out to the room you're in, beyond the walls, out into the world. You can let go of any counting and just visualize breath as light, filling you and then leaving you. As much as possible, retain this image of light as you wiggle your fingers and your toes. Perhaps you can keep eyes closed or soft as you start your transition from lying down to seated. As you come back to a seat, I invite you to let both of your hands cover the soft, tender place around your heart. A moment of gratitude for choosing yourself today, for coming here. And as we leave today, I'd like to read you the words of Marilyn Nilsson. And since we're celebrating a birthday, I thought this was a wonderful poem or some thoughts to start a birthday. To be quiet enough to feel held, to feel the embrace of the divine, to realize that I am part of something vaster than vast, to recognize that, to feel thankful for it, and to hope that by opening myself to this awareness, I am allowing some of it to come through me. We are the way the light enters the universe. When we allow the love of the divine to enter us and come through us, we are not offering something only to ourselves, not the answer to our own little prayers, but also we are lighting the way. We are the way the light enters the universe. With hands together in gratitude and a very happy birthday to our friend Kim, may we all leave here with sore upper bodies and the reminder that we are the light that this world very badly needs right now. Namaste. Hi, my friend. Thanks for taking time for yourself today. If you ever want to practice with me live over Zoom, jump over to my website, denisestruce.as.me, grab a class. They're all free or by donation, or just continue enjoying these videos here.